सुर में गाना सीखिए पाधानीसा ऐप के साथ। AI पावर्ड पर्सनल म्यूजिक टीचर फ्रॉम सारेगामा।
தனியே அவர் பொரு குணவுண்டு, தனியே அவர் பொரு குணவுண்டு. அமிழ்தும் அவனது மொழியாகும், அன்பே அவனது வழியாகும், அன்பே அவனது வழியாகும். கலைகள் யாவினும் வல்லவனாம், கற்றவர் எவர்க்கும் நல்லவனாம். கலைகள் யாவினும் வல்லவனாம், கற்றவர் எவர்க்கும் நல்லவனாம். நிலைகொள் பற்பல அடையாளம் நின்றன இன்னும் உடையோனாம். தமிழன் என்றொரு இனம் உண்டு, மானம் பெரிதென உயிர் விடுவான், மற்றவர்க்காக துயர்படுவான். மானம் பெரிதென உயிர் விடுவான், மற்றவர்க்காக துயர்படுவான். தானம் வாங்கிட கூதிடுவான், தானம் வாங்கிட கூதிடுவான். தருவது மேலென பேசிடுவான், தருவது மேலென பேசிடுவான். தமிழன் என்றொரு இனம் உண்டு, ஜாதிகள் தொழிலால் உண்டெனினும் சமரசம் நாட்டினில் கண்டவனாம், சமரசம் நாட்டினில் கண்டவனாம். நீதியும் உரிமையும் அந்நியக்கும் நிறை குறையாமல் பண்ணினவர். தமிழன் என்றொரு இனம் உண்டு, தனியே அவர் பொரு குணவுண்டு, குணவுண்டு.
வரவில்லை, உன் முன் சரியாசனத்தில் அமர்ந்து வாதிடவே வந்தேன். எம்மை போல் சாஸ்திரங்கள் கத்தறியாதவனுக்கு சரியாசனம் கிடையாது. என்ன, தமிழுக்கு ஆசனம் இல்லையா? சங்கம் வளர்த்த தமிழுக்கு சரியாசனம் இல்லையா?
தத்துவ கலையுடன் வித்தகர் பணியாற்றும் சங்கம் வளர்த்த தமிழே, சல்மான தமிழகம் சல்மானம் பெற்றிட தனிப்புகள் கொண்ட தமிழே. மத்தக திமிர்மிகும் அந்நிய உனையே மதியாது எதிர்க்கலாமோ? மலையோடு தலைமோதும் மமதையின் உருவத்தை மறைந்தோடச் செய்வாய் தமிழே.
வடமதுரை வல்லாளரே, எங்கள் முதுபெரும் புலவர்களை எல்லாம் நீர் வாதிலே வென்ற விதம் எப்படி? ஒரு சிறு கேள்விதான் கேட்டோம், அதில் தோற்று விட்டார்கள். அது என்ன கேள்வி? இந்த பூமியின் நடுமைய புள்ளி எது என்று. அதோ எங்கள் தமிழ் பெரும் காவலர் முத்துவீர பூபதியின் கால் பெருமிரல் ஊன்றி இருக்கிற இடம்தான் இந்த பூமிக்கு மத்திய புள்ளி. அதற்கு ஆதாரம்? அதை இல்லை என்று மறுப்பதற்கு ஆதாரம்? மகிழ்ச்சியான பதில், கேள்விக்கேற்ற பதில். சிறியவர் பெரியவராவது எப்போது? பெரியவர் சிறுமை பேசும்போது. அறிந்திருந்தவர் யார்? அறியாமையால் வீழ்ந்து கிடக்கும் தம் இனத்தவரை விழிப்புறச் செய்து நம் நாடு என்ற உணர்ச்சியை தூண்டி முன்னேற்ற பாதையில் நடத்துபவர். மிதிபடுவதும் அழிபடுவதும் என்ன? மிதிபடும் மக்களால் அழிபடுவது சர்வாதிகாரம். பாமரன் பாராள்வது எப்போது? படித்தவர் பண்பை மறக்கும் போது. ஆறறிவுள்ள மிருகம் என்ன மிருகம்? மனிதன் மேல் சவாரி செய்யும் மனித மிருகம். அடுத்த கேள்வி. சரி, கான சஞ்சாரத்தில் எம் முன்னே நிற்க முடியுமா? காட்டும் திறமையை. தரிந்தின தரிந்தின திறந்தின தரிந்தின தரிந்தின திறந்தின இயலிசை நாடக கலையாலே இயலிசை நாடக கலையாலே இகமீது செய்யும் தியாகம் இதனால் யாவரும் அடைவார் மோகம் இதனால் யாவரும் அடைவார் மோகம் இணைந்திடும் தமிழ் சுவை பாராய் ஜலிசை நாடக கலையாலே என்ன சங்கீத சாஸ்திர சிரோன்மணியாரே, சண்டை சதம் அபிநயம் அதை விட பிரமாதம். போதும், பெரியவர் சிரமப்பட வேண்டாம். இந்த சிறுவன் கேட்கும் நிபந்தனைப்படி ஒரே ஒரு பாட்டு பாடிவிடும். நீரே ஜெயித்ததாக ஒப்புக்கொள்கிறேன். சொல்லுங்க நிபந்தனை. உதடுகள் ஒன்றோடொன்று படாமல் கவிதை ஒன்று பாட வேண்டும். உதடுகள் பட்டால் குத்தும்படியாக ஊசி ஒன்றையும் உதடுகளுக்கு இடையில் வைத்துக் கொள்ள வேண்டும். இது என்ன சிறுவில்லை விளையாட்டு? என்ன சிரிப்பு? உதடுகள் படாமல் உன்னால் பாட முடியுமா? நான் பாடினால், பாடாவிட்டால் நாக்கை கிழித்து விடுவோம்.
தன்னாலே தான் கெட்ட தண்டனா கலைஞனே தலையே கனத்திடாதே கண்ணான இலக்கிய காதலியை காணாத கசடனே கலங்கிடாதே அந்நாளிலே சிலராக என்றாரன அகந்தையால் அலைந்திடாதே இந்நாளிலே எங்கள் இயலிசை கலையினே எளிதாக எண்ணிடாதே
பெரியவரே, நீ பெற்ற செல்வன் இந்த சமஸ்தானத்தின் பெருமையை காப்பாற்றினார். இவனுக்கு இந்த யானையும் பரிவட்டங்களும் பரிசளிக்கிறேன். எமது அகம்பாவத்தால் நானே உமது அடிமையாகிவிட்டேன். ஐயா பெரியவரே, நாங்கள் யாருக்கும் அடிமைப்படுவதும் இல்லை, யாரையும் அடிமைப்படுத்துவதும் இல்லை. என்ன பெருந்தன்மை! அதுதான் எங்கள் தென்னவரின் தனித்த.
In the Indian tradition, which says the moment you have trust, you will automatically have this attitude, whatever happens, happens for your own good. And when you have this attitude, you'll find you'll be able to manage fear in a much better way. There's a very beautiful story. It seems a king and a minister went out for hunting. Suddenly a tiger attacked, and the king killed the tiger. In the process of killing the tiger, he lost his thumb. He was very sad that he has lost his thumb. The minister had exposed himself to yoga, and therefore he told the king, Maharaj, don't have to be sad. Whatever happens, happens for your own good. The king got very annoyed and he said, I've lost my thumb and you say whatever happens, happens for my own good. It was not appropriate on the part of the minister to say at that time. The king got so annoyed, caught hold of the minister and pushed him in the well nearby. Unfortunately, the well had little water, so he was saved. And then the king asked the minister, whatever has happened, is this for your own good? And the minister says, whatever happens is for my own good. The king cursed. He said, what a silly thing, this fellow is in the well and says this for my own good. He leaves the forest, leaving the minister in the well. And as he was going, he went to the neighbor's village, and there a group of Kali worshippers caught hold of the king. Kali worshippers is a group of people who believe in human sacrifice. They caught hold of the king and said, we are going to offer you as Balidan. We are offering human sacrifice to goddess Kali. Their tradition is, if you offer human sacrifice, God will be pleased. This king said, please don't do this. I am the king of the neighboring kingdom. But the Kali worshipper says, it's still more good, this blue blood that we are offering. The king cursed, what is happening? And the next day when the chief priest came to do Balidan, the chief priest saw the king's thumb has been cut, and he said, please release the king and send him off, because in their tradition, any ahuti should be purna ahuti. Any offering should be a complete offering, and therefore God will get angry, so send him off. The king was very happy because his thumb is lost, his life was lost. If thumb was there, he would have been offered. And then he remembered what the minister said, whatever happens is for my own good. He comes running back to the forest, takes the minister out from the well, touches his feet, offers his apology, and then explains whatever has happened, to which the minister says, please don't thank me, don't apologize to me. What you did is really good, and what happened to me is good. If you had not pushed me in the well, then I would have been the perfect offering to goddess Kali. They would have killed me. Whatever happened, happens for our own good. This type of trust when you have, you will be able to deal with death wisely, trusting that death also is a part of life, and learning to experience the mystery of existence. Life opens up a different dimension. So the first great fear is the fear of public speaking. Second is the fear of death. Third is the fear of insecurity. Now this is another fear that one has to handle with understanding. A lot of people are insecure. And insecurity seems to literally eat people up. Now have a wise perception. Yoga says, have a wise perception with reference to insecurity. You are afraid of insecurity because you have a conclusion of what security is. Please understand, our insecurity is always in contrast with what security your mind fabricates. So you have a concept, this is security, and from that light you find you are insecure. Insecurity means what? Is only in contrast with security you say something is insecure. Life is constantly changing. Therefore, in Sanskrit, the word jagat means jayate gacchati iti jagat. That which is born and that which goes is the world. World is constantly changing. Hercules said, you cannot take bath in the river twice. Everything is changing. Change is so beautiful. But you are afraid of change because you have a concept of something which is changeless. And therefore, if you say this is security, and from that contrast, you become insecure. So if you can understand one thing, there's no such thing as security at all. Everything is insecure. Because everything is changing. This moment is gone. When the moment it is gone forever. Everything is changing. So what is secure? This body is not secure. Your money is not secure. Nothing is secure. Since everything is changing, you have to learn to love change. God in His infinite kindness is giving us an opportunity to love what is. If you bring the energy of love, you can handle fear much better. If you can do what you love is beautiful. Always you cannot do what you love. Then you have to learn to love what you do. Do what you love and learn to love what you do is a great skill that you have to learn in the course of your living. So there is change. learn to love change. And how to love change? There is no how to love change. It is an understanding that there is nothing called security. Everything is insecure. And you are afraid of insecurity because you have a concept called security. If you can renounce that and start learning to love what is with the understanding past is history, future is mystery, the present is a gift, and therefore in English it is called the present. The present is a present. Each moment is a present. And if each moment if you can learn to use it, then you find life becomes beautiful. Drop your concept of security. Learn to love change. And I'm not trying to say you should not work for your financial security. But whatever you are working, please understand that everything in this existence is perishable. And the beauty of existence is it is perishable. Something perishes, something is born. Learn to use whatever life gives you. People always come and tell me, Swamiji, I'm unhappy because I don't have this. I'm unhappy because I don't have this or that. And I always tell them, it is not what you have. It is how you use what you have which makes a difference in life. What do I mean by that? It is not what you have. It is how you use what you have. You have eyes. If you do not know how to use your eyes and always look on what you don't have, then you will find having eyes doesn't mean anything. So if you can learn to use whatever life gives you, have eyes, use your eyes. You have brains, use your brain. Have legs, use your legs and hands. And then if you use whatever life gives you, life is beautiful. Unfortunately, people don't use what existence gives us. We are too lost in our expectation of what life should be. If you are wise and have love and trust, if God gives you poverty, learn to use poverty. If God gives you richness, learn to use richness. Because there's richness in poverty, there is also poverty in richness. See, people who are poor, they don't have problem of taxation. They don't have problem of dacoits ransacking them. There in poverty, there is also a dimension of richness. And people who are rich has its own dimension of poverty. If you can use whatever life gives you, that's a great skill that one has to develop. Life is like a laptop, but we are using it like a paperweight. Even though you're using laptop, but you're using it as a paperweight, exactly, life is so powerful, we don't use it. And to use it, what is required is love, what is required is commitment, what is required is understanding. And when you bring this, you will find whatever existence gives you, you'll use it. That's why when bad things happen to good people, they become better and not bitter. And that's a skill that you have to learn in life. Use change. And then you will find you will be able to be so creative in life. Creativity can be of two types. You can be destructively creative, you can be constructively creative. We are talking of a constructive creativity, not a destructive creativity. I was reading a cartoon, and the cartoon goes like this. Chief Minister of Bihar, just a cartoon, no criticism to anybody. The Chief Minister of Bihar was approached by the Prime Minister of Japan and told the Chief Minister, Bihar is so rich in natural resources, but why is it the poorest state in the country? So give Bihar to Japan. In 1 year, I'll convert Bihar into Japan. The Prime Minister of Japan offered it to the Chief Minister of Bihar. The Chief Minister of Bihar laughed at it and said, what is so great about this? You give Japan, in 6 months, I'll convert Japan into Bihar. Now, this is also creativity. I'm talking of a constructive creativity, not a destructive creativity. So if you can love change, understand change, use change, you'll find life can be extremely powerful. Insecurity is beautiful. Love insecurity because it opens up a dimension of mystery. Learn to renounce your conclusion of what security is and learn to love insecurity, and then you will find you love change. When you are a child, there is a beauty. When you are a youth, there is a beauty. Middle age, beauty. Old age, beauty. These are the seasons of life. But you see people, when they are child, they want to become a youth. When they are youth, they are so unhappy being a single. They want to get married, then I'll be happy. When they get married, then they feel, oh, I should have been a bachelor. And thus it goes on. We do not know how to lovingly use the phenomena of change. Love insecurity. That's a great spiritual asset which yoga invites us to acquire. Fourth is the fear of rejection. A lot of people are afraid of rejection. And when you're afraid of rejection, then you will find your life becomes literally frozen. Now, please understand, nobody can reject you unless you feel yourself rejected. Somebody can say no to you. No doesn't mean to say rejection. Nobody can hurt you unless you give permission for yourself to be hurt. Mahatma Gandhi said very beautifully, nobody can take away your self-respect unless you give it away. I say, nobody can reject you unless you feel rejected. Somebody says no to you in a relationship, it only means somebody is saying no to you. But if you feel rejected, deep within, it is your interpretation that you feel rejected, you feel rejected. One person told me, Swamiji, you tell me to be happy. It is impossible for me to be happy. I asked him why. He said, I loved a woman, I got married, and after 3 years, she says bye-bye to me and gets married to somebody else. From that time, now I've been in drinks, I have been in drugs, because the pain of she rejecting me after 3 years of marriage and 2-3 years of a relationship before marriage, it is so painful. Unless you go through this, you will not experience this. Now I told him, please look into it little more deeply. In the same workshop, another person got up and said, the happiest incident in my life is when my wife rejected me. He says 5 years of relationship we had, and when she rejected me after 5 years, and that's the time I really learned, he said, how I took my wife for granted. I took her for granted, and since I took her for granted, it is only the divorce which made me realize never take the relationship for granted. And then when he re-looked, he said those 5 years have been such a beautiful experience in life, such a phenomenal experience in life, and I invalidated it by taking it for granted. And therefore, when I start taking for granted, my life has become a sickness. When I realized this, I became healthy. Never take life for granted. For Rabindranath Tagore, a simple dewdrop on a lotus leaf, poetry comes out. For a gross person, if he sees a Niagara Falls, dysentery comes out of him. The world is the same. It is how sensitive that you are towards the world. And it is this sensitivity that you have to bring. Early morning, sunrise. A poet writes a poem. But a gross person, when he looks at the sunrise, he feels the sunrise is disturbing his sleep. Friends, to be very sensitive is a beautiful phenomena, and therefore nobody can reject you unless you feel rejected. Here is a person, wife has rejected him. Her rejection has made him realize that I took her for granted. I should not take a person for granted. And it was a great learning experience, and he is grateful that he has learned a lesson. As Mahatma Gandhi beautifully said, nobody can take away your self-respect unless you give it away. I say nobody can reject you unless you feel inwardly rejected. Rejection which leads to dejection is more your self-talk. Somebody says no is just a fact. Fact is not painful. What is painful is your interpretation to the fact. Wife has left you is a fact. Look very deeply. It's so difficult for people to see this. Wife has left you is a fact. What is more crippling is your interpretation of the fact. She left me, therefore I am not a worthy person. She is a cheat, blah, blah, blah. All this goes more than the fact. It is your interpretation of the fact which is painful. This interpretation you can interpret as pain, you can interpret as power. And therefore, yoga says, learn to be very careful how you interpret facts. And if you can interpret facts wisely, you will grow. When bad things happen to good people, they become better and not bitter. I invite you to look at rejection at a different angle. Somebody rejects you, treat it differently. Like in the field of marketing, it is said, when a customer says no to you, it is the starting point of selling. There's another famous jargon in marketing. When a customer says no to you, he only means he does not know enough of the product. Now, this is a very proactive way. Here a customer saying no. But this man, the seller, feels when a customer says no, It is only means he does not know enough of the product, and therefore he represents the product differently. And therefore in marketing it is said, a good person in selling can sell a comb to a bald person. Fact is not painful so often, it is your interpretation of the fact. Many of our pain comes from interpretation. Interpretation comes from your self-talk, and therefore your self-talk is a movement of thought. Ultimately, fear is a movement of thought. Just imagine there is no thought, there is no fear. In deep sleep, there is no fear. The tiger can be next to you, but there is no fear. But tiger may not be next to you. And if you have a thought of a tiger, then you will be scared. And therefore some people look at a post and see it as a ghost. They look at a rope and see it as a snake. Fear is a movement of thought. And if you can see fear is a movement of thought, and if you can see you are not the thought, you are the space in which thought comes and goes, and if you can always see yourself beyond thought, then you will find that you will not be a victim of thought, for you are only a space which is beyond thought itself. Therefore, fear is a movement of thought. People always tell me, Swamiji is beautiful, but when somebody likes you and you like them and somebody rejects you, it's still painful. It still hurts. Hurt or upset, whether justified or not justified, it is self-damaging. You have to understand that. Now you may say, but it's natural for us to get hurt when somebody rejects you. The moment you say it's natural for us to get hurt, then you have no possibility for a higher dimension. I will give another answer. People get hurt when somebody rejects you. But if you have to be a winner in life, you have to operate from an extraordinary dimension. Like, if you want to be an Olympic champion, you cannot operate from an ordinary paradigm. You have to operate from an extraordinary paradigm. And what is the extraordinary paradigm? Is the understanding, hurt or upset, whether justified or not justified, it is self-damaging. If you can keep this constantly aware, it is like a diabetic person saying, Swamiji, it is easy to say don't eat gulab jamun, don't eat sweets, but naturally we'll get tempted. Now what can anybody say to such a person? The doctor has to say, whether it is natural or not natural, you are not supposed to eat. It is self-damaging. So if you have this conviction, hurt or upset, whether justified or not justified, it's self-damaging, then you won't give energy to hurt. You won't justify hurt. Most of the time we go on justifying it. We go on expecting something else should have happened. And in this game that we get lost, if we can renounce that and then learn to just see fear is a moment of thought, hurt is a moment of thought, I am beyond thought, that beyondness is what we have to experience. Finally, I like to say this, and this is the quintessence of my understanding of yoga and religion. When I find people struggling, I find most of their struggles, be it anger, be it fear, most of it is this: the greed to be somebody and the fear to be nobody is the biggest struggle that we are going through. If we can renounce the greed to be somebody, just renounce the greed to be somebody and the fear to be nobody, if you can renounce that, you will find your life will be so beautiful. Why do you want to be somebody? Ego plays such an important role. Ego always wants self-importance. Ego wants self-importance. And many of our fear, anger, hurt is we are caught up in the game of self-importance. A lady came to me some time back and said, Swamiji, my husband is so insensitive that he is not even seeing I'm putting such foreign cosmetics on my face, and he is not sensitive to see this, and that hurts me very much, Swamiji. I told her, please look, you are caught up in the game of self-importance. The earth, it is said, is like a small piece of dust in this cosmos, because there are so many suns, so many galaxies. So earth is a small piece of dust. In that dust, I told her, where is India? Another small piece, small dot. I asked her, where is Chennai? Again a further dot. I want you to go through this as I'm saying. Then in Chennai, I asked her, where is Egmore? Further small. And in Egmore, where is the hotel in which I'm taking this workshop. Still further, in that there are 200 people. Where are you? Can you just imagine the size? The earth itself is a small dust. In earth, India, Madras, in Madras, Egmore, in Egmore, this hall, in this hall, 200 people, and there you are a negligible person. Now see how crazy it is if you seek for self-importance. It is like a mosquito going in front of you and saying, oh, I have put lipstick and people are not appreciating me. We are smaller than the mosquito, and ego plays this game of self-importance. And because of ego, there is fear. The greed to be somebody and the fear to be nobody is the biggest struggle we are going through. And if you can just drop that ego and just be a nobody, and from nobody function. And therefore the famous expression in Indian culture is, you operate from emptiness and then you will find you will operate from fullness. Being empty, you operate from a different fullness altogether, and that will help you in managing fear much more wisely. Finally, healthy fear is very different from unhealthy fear. You should have healthy fear, but your fear should be legitimate to the situation. When there's a tiger coming and you say, I'm not afraid, then you have to be taken to a mental hospital. Maybe there's no time for you to take to the mental hospital. So healthy fear is okay. We are talking of unhealthy fear, projected and imagined fear. And if you can renounce that, then you will find life becomes very beautiful. And therefore, finally, learning to convert fear into love is the greatest asset that we owe to ourselves. May God bless you all.
ஆழம் தெரியாமே காலை விட்டு அவதி படலாமா மூளை கட்டு ஆழம் தெரியாமே காலை விட்டு அவதி படலாமா மூளை கட்டு நாளும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டே உன்னை தொட்டு நன்றி மட்டும் போகாது என்ன விட்டு நாளும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டே உன்னை தொட்டு நன்றி மட்டும் போகாது என்ன விட்டு முந்தானையில் கூடங்கட்டி குடியிருக்கட்டுமா உன் முகத்து பக்கம் நெருங்கி வந்து கதை படிக்கட்டுமா முந்தானையில் கூடங்கட்டி குடியிருக்கட்டுமா உன் முகத்து பக்கம் நெருங்கி வந்து கதை படிக்கட்டுமா வந்ததெல்லாம் வரட்டும்னு நினைக்க முடியுமா வரம்பு மீறி பெண்களாலே நடக்க முடியுமா வந்ததெல்லாம் வரட்டும்னு நினைக்க முடியுமா வரம்பு மீறி பெண்களாலே நடக்க முடியுமா முடியுமா நாளும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டே உன்னை தொட்டு நன்றி மட்டும் போகாது என்ன விட்டு ஆழம் தெரியாமே காலை விட்டு அவதி படலாமா மூளை கட்டு காதலிலே நீயும் நானும் ஈக்குவல் வெயிட்டு அதை கலைச்சிடவே வில்லன் வந்தா இருக்குது ஃபைட்டு காதலிலே நீயும் நானும் ஈக்குவல் வெயிட்டு அதை கலைச்சிடவே வில்லன் வந்தா இருக்குது ஃபைட்டு மச்சான் இப்போ சொன்னதுதான் நல்ல பாயிண்டு நம்ம மனசு ரெண்டும் என்னைக்குமே ஒரே ஜாயிண்டு மச்சான் இப்போ சொன்னதுதான் நல்ல பாயிண்டு நம்ம மனசு ரெண்டும் என்னைக்குமே ஒரே ஜாயிண்டு நல்ல பாயிண்டு ஆழம் தெரியாமே காலை விட்டு அவதி படமாட்டோம் மூளை கட்டு ஆழம் தெரியாமே காலை விட்டு அவதி படமாட்டோம் மூளை கட்டு கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. சொல்லெல்லாம் தூய தமிழ் சொல்லாகுமா, சுவையெல்லாம் இதழ் சிந்தும் சுவையாகுமா. சொல்லெல்லாம் தூய தமிழ் சொல்லாகுமா, சுவையெல்லாம் இதழ் சிந்தும் சுவையாகுமா. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. கன்னித்தமிழ் தந்ததொரு திருவாசகம், கல்லை கனி ஆக்கும் உந்தன் ஒரு வாசகம். கன்னித்தமிழ் தந்ததொரு திருவாசகம், கல்லை கனி ஆக்கும் உந்தன் ஒரு வாசகம். உண்டென்று சொல்வதுந்தன் கண்ணல்லவா, வண்ண கண்ணல்லவா. சொல்வதுந்தன் கண்ணல்லவா, வண்ண கண்ணல்லவா. இல்லை என்று சொல்வதுந்தன் இடை அல்லவா, மின்னல் இடை அல்லவா. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. கம்பன் கண்ட சீதை உந்தன் தாயல்லவா, காளிதாசன் சகுந்தலை உன் சேயல்லவா. கம்பன் கண்ட சீதை உந்தன் தாயல்லவா, காளிதாசன் சகுந்தலை உன் சேயல்லவா. அம்பிகாபதி அணைத்த அமராவதி மங்கை அமராவதி. அம்பிகாபதி அணைத்த அமராவதி மங்கை அமராவதி. சென்ற பின்பு பாவலர்க்கு நீ ஏகதி, என்றும் நீ ஏகதி. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா, கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா? சொல்லெல்லாம் தூய தமிழ் சொல்லாகுமா? சுவையெல்லாம் இதழ் சிந்தும் சுவையாகுமா? சொல்லெல்லாம் தூய தமிழ் சொல்லாகுமா? சுவையெல்லாம் இதழ் சிந்தும் சுவையாகுமா? கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா? கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா? கன்னித்தமிழ் தந்ததொரு திருவாசகம், கல்லை கனி ஆக்கும் உந்தன் ஒரு வாசகம். கன்னித்தமிழ் தந்ததொரு திருவாசகம், கல்லை கனி ஆக்கும் உந்தன் ஒரு வாசகம். உண்டென்று சொல்வதுந்தன் கண்ணல்லவா, வண்ண கண்ணல்லவா? உண்டென்று சொல்வதுந்தன் கண்ணல்லவா, வண்ண கண்ணல்லவா? இல்லை என்று சொல்வதுந்தன் இடை அல்லவா, மின்னல் இடை அல்லவா? கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா? கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா? கம்பன் கண்ட சீதை உந்தன் தாயல்லவா, காளிதாசன் சகுந்தலை உன் சேயல்லவா? கம்பன் கண்ட சீதை உந்தன் தாயல்லவா, காளிதாசன் சகுந்தலை உன் சேயல்லவா? அம்பிகாபதி அணைத்த அமராவதி மங்கை அமராவதி, அம்பிகாபதி அணைத்த அமராவதி மங்கை அமராவதி. சென்ற பின்பு பாவலர்க்கு நீ ஏகதி, என்றும் நீ ஏகதி. கல்லெல்லாம் மாணிக்க கல்லாகுமா? கலையெல்லாம் கண்கள் சொல்லும் கலையாகுமா?